Hey, this is Coach Deanna with another episode of the Winning Element podcast, The Athlete's Journey. Today, we are on the journey with Matt Scott. He's a 4-time Paralympian, a 2-time medalist for Team USA and wheelchair basketball. In this episode, we talk about Matt's journey and how he recently had a near-death experience that really left him wondering, is he ever going to be able to play elite basketball again? You know, we talk about his journey prior to that. We talk about, what his last couple of months have looked like, what he's done to mentally get back in the right frame of mind to be able to compete. He also shares about how excited he is for this next part of his journey. He's back on Team USA. He's going to be competing in the Paralympian Games. That's a lot of P's. And his story is just inspiring. He is an incredibly humble, incredibly graceful, and just a really wonderful person. And you are going to really feel all of the gratitude, all of the energy, and all of the good vibes in our interaction. So you're going to love this episode. This podcast is brought to you by The Winning Element, a mental and physical performance platform for athletes. Our flagship product has been getting attention from Olympians, colleges, and high school programs across the world. We're in Australia and Mexico and Japan, Canada, and even Costa Rica. The flagship product is the Winning Element Gold Edition. It's my best-selling book, The Winning Element, An Athlete's Guide to Maximizing Mental and Physical Performance, and it's also the 365-day dynamic planner. Now, this book and planner combo is a powerful resource for athletes who are really looking to level up, who are looking to get recruited or play at a higher level. And this is designed by athletes for athletes. Winning and progress are about working smarter, and it's really about applying small strategies over time that make a big difference. And, if you aren't doing some of these strategies, you're not getting the results that you deserve. The Winning Element has cracked the code for developing athletes and sharing game-changing mental and physical performance strategies that actually work. The athlete journey is difficult, but with the right roadmap and mentor, it becomes easier and more exciting because you're actually going to see and feel results. This comprehensive athlete development program is perfect for individual athletes and teams. Listeners and fans of this podcast will receive 10% off, free shipping, online resources, a free audiobook, and more bonuses. Visit www.BeTheWinningElement.com/gold edition special offer. This podcast is also brought to you by Whoop. Whoop is my favorite wearable and the choice of professional athletes and serious fitness enthusiasts. If you're serious about performance, training, and leveling up your life, you have to get yourself a Whoop. Whoop provides data on heart rate, sleep, strain, heart rate variability, and more. The data that I get from my Whoop helps me plan my workouts, my recovery days, and helps me make smarter choices that better serve my mind and my body. I've been using my Whoop for 2.5, almost 3 years now. And I use it because it helps me better understand my body and get the most out of my training. Whoop is a little bit different than other wearables because it's a subscription-based, meaning that you're paying every month instead of all at once. They just released Whoop 3.0. I haven't got my upgrade yet, but I'm really excited to see all the new features, including extended battery life. There's more like Whoop Live features. So there's a lot of really cool stuff. They're continuously innovating on their technology. And it's just a really incredible device and a way to help you train smarter. You can get 1 free month of Whoop by going to www.BeTheWinningElement.com/Whoop. That's WHOOP. As always, you can access show notes, the special offer for the Gold Edition, and our product highlight for this episode at www.BeTheWinningElement.com/podcast015. I hope you enjoy this episode with Matt. Let's go. Please welcome to The Winning Element 4-time Paralympian, 2-time medalist, the incredible, the unbeatable, Matt Scott. Matt!
Oh man, that's quite the intro.
I was thinking about it last night and I was like, oh man, I'm going to have some fun with his intro because you are freaking unbeatable and you just you have this, you just continue winning at everything in life. And I'm excited to talk to you, to catch up with you. I know it's been like a year and a half, 2 years, and we've had like milestone like, hey, what's going on? Hey, what's going on? Hey, what's going on?
For sure.
Here and there, but I'm excited to connect back with you, to hear what you got going on in life, and to hear where you're at currently. It looks like you are in the Olympic Training Center. Is that
You
correct?
know what? I am in the mecca of sports at the moment. That is, it's so cool to be here. I'm a resident at the moment at the Olympic Training Center, just surrounded by motivated athletes, going for their Olympic goals and chasing medals and doing all the things that I aspire to do. So every day I wake up incredibly inspired, and I'm in an amazing atmosphere. Like, so this is incredible.
That's got to be really cool, right? So you like wake up in like whatever the dorm situation, or is it like an apartment? I don't know.
Yeah,
Let's talk about this.
so
This is interesting.
I've gotten a bit of an upgrade in
Hey
the last
yo.
year or so. Yeah, so they do have like a dorm situation, but also for the I guess the more resident athletes they have suites, and so I got moved up, so I'm not in the dorm status anymore. So
Ooh, hey yo, look at you.
you know, all those years on the national team has done me some good. So
Heck yeah,
I
man.
feel
That's
good about
awesome.
that.
So you like
Definitely.
wake up in your suite because you're sweet. You like wake up in your suite, you roll out of your room and you go like everywhere you go is just people pursuing greatness all
Yeah,
around
that's
you.
right. There's inspiration everywhere. And I'm talking about from every sport. I mean, you can just see it in people's eyes. Like as they're walking around campus, they just have this like, I'm going to get it.
Oh,
So
yeah,
yeah,
that's
so
gotta be it.
right, right. And I mean, everywhere you go, I mean, there's like all these pictures of past greats, and there's quotes on the wall. There's all these places that you can sort of take all this inspiration from. So it's almost impossible not to give it your best every time to go. There's one quote that's above the gym that I go into, and it says it's a really simple one, but it just says, if you're gonna be in the gym, be in the gym, and I love that. I love that. I mean, it's so simple, but I mean the dozens of quotes on the wall. That's the one that stands out to me the most.
I like that. I think that there's something to be said for being where you are, right?
Presence is
Like
everything.
presence.
Yeah,
And that's where all the greatness is, and that's where like all the sweetness of life. It's so easy to get caught up in all of the things that we can get caught up in as normal humans, and then on top of that, athletically, as a professional athlete, there's a lot of other things that you could be paying attention to, or
absolutely.
things that kind of like distract or take you away.
Yeah,
But when you're in the gym, you got to be
you're
in
in
the
the gym.
gym. You got to be in the gym.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely a big person that's on presence. Just being in the moment, living in that moment, and just taking that moment. So I mean, it's that quote really drives home for me, and yeah, it really sticks out every time I enter the gym.
Oh man, I think it's a good just one of those like they do these studies on how much our environment affects who we are, right? So if like
Right,
they've done these studies on like cluttered environments, and how like feng shui is like a real thing, and just
right,
like the things that we surround ourselves with, not only the like the physical space of where you
right.
are, but the things that are in the space, and each thing like on if we want to go like, oh, on the like the micro macro level of like all of the little things, like everything like carries reverence and energy, and like has the ability to affect everything else that's in the room. And then
Of
like
course.
even like you continue to like go outwards, right? And then it's like, and then there's the people in the room, and then there's the
Yeah,
energy of the people in the room, and then there's the combination of those energies going together. And when you have people who are so inspired, so motivated, so focused, and just have this carry this exuberance for what they're doing, you
of
can't
course.
help but to like, I'm sure that plays into your ability to show up as your best. Not only just like, oh yeah, I can see that they're over there training hard, so I'm gonna get it, but just like
Right.
the actual like the atoms and the elements, and like physiologically all of
For
the
sure.
things that we can't see, like how that actually physically affects us.
Definitely, definitely. I feel like that even in competition, this is a training environment, but even in a competition type environment, I like to get into a room and just soak up the energy. A lot of people come in the gym and they got their music on, they got these headphones on, and they're trying to be in themselves. And I used to be one of those guys. I used to put my music on as loud as I can, listen to like some DMX or something, or something really really hype. And then I fell out of a game and realized like getting so hyped wasn't really my thing. It's more sucking up the energy around me and yeah, just really being present.
Oh man, I never really thought about it that way. Like athletes, we want to like control the uncontrollable, or we want to try to control everything we can control and like control our state, control our mind,
Right.
So it's like sometimes, that's putting on the headphones and being in your zone. But then
Mm.
again, your zone is also intimately connected to, the zone that, or the environment that you're in, that you're
Right.
actually separating yourself from. So you have to actually go through
100%.
that reintegration of like, okay, well, now I'm not in my headphones. Now I'm out of my headphones. I'm in my zone, but I'm taking myself out of this the confines of the thing that I'm trying to pull into myself. And then you get
Correct.
into the outward. I never really thought about it, just completely surrendering to the environment,
Yeah.
soaking it up, and like
And making it
bringing
yours.
and making it yours, right? Wow.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So that's one thing that I try to do. Like I said, I used to be a shut in, turn my music up as loud as I could, and just try to create this zone that nobody else could penetrate. And now I just want whatever the zone, whatever energy's out there, I want to just breathe it in, take it in, and just completely make it mine.
Oh my gosh, that's incredible. Okay. I'm going to start to see how I can apply that in my life, and I think that's a big that's one of those like mind blown like emoji moments for people is like, wait a minute, maybe I should
that's
be a
that's my
part of
favorite
it.
emoji.
Is
I
it?
probably use that emoji about 10 times a day.
All right. So what was the last time that you used your mind blown emoji, or like legitimately got your mind blown? What was it? What was it? Tell me about your last mind blown
I mean, it
moment.
was it was it was just the other day actually because I was actually stuck at the airport when I was during game 5 of the NBA Finals. I was actually stuck at the airport. There was no crew to take us, so I got a chance to watch the first half. I was going to miss pretty much the whole game flying back here to Colorado Springs.
Oh yeah.
Um, so I got right on the I got right to it was like the end of the first quarter, start of the second quarter, and I saw KD re-injure himself, and that really I got goosebumps. It hurt my heart, because
Mm-hmm.
I'd be the first one to tell you I rip on KD all day. I rip on him all day. I talk about his legacy. I talk about how LeBron just dominates. I rip on KD all day, but when I watched him go down, I really really felt for him just because an injury like that, when a guy just tries to show how much heart he has and how much he loves his team and loves his brothers and wants to win, that really hurt my heart because I've been there.
Oh my gosh. And you had a
Yeah.
recent injury, right? Or were
I,
you just fixing stuff that needed to be fixed? I know you had a recent
so
surgery.
yeah, absolutely. So back in November, yeah, this is you gotta be ready for this one. This is kind
Oh
of a
yes, I
mind
love this. Give it to me.
blowing. Oh man, okay, the goosebumps are coming back. All right. So I actually I had a really bad sepsis. So I went into a septic shock back in November from a pressure sore that I had. And I went to a septic shock, fell asleep for about a week, and I believe they call that a coma. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I went to a septic shock, went to a coma for about a week. Ended up spending about 2 weeks in ICU before I had to be on a 4-month recovery. It was quite the hill to climb, and it was just a really big eye-opening experience for me.
Okay, so we're gonna walk through this because this is gonna be
Yeah, we can.
interesting. So, okay, so your body's like, "Hey, dude, there's some like I've got some pressure sore. Like I got something going on. Something's bad.
Definitely.
We gotta figure this out." What was there like an acute moment where it was like, "Oh my god," or was it just like this slow thing where it's like, "Oh man, I gotta go check this out," and then they find it? Like, what was the
So
process for that?
it all kind of hit me at once, actually, So I had a game on the weekend. It was an away game, and I played it. We won. Everything went just fine, but I wasn't really feeling the greatest. And I guess it was pretty visible. A lot of my teammates were asking me, "What's wrong? What's wrong?" I'm just, no, everything's
So it's
okay.
cool.
I
It's
played
cool.
all right
It's
in the
cool.
game. But funnily enough, like I played pretty well in the game. I shot really well, but apparently I just didn't look with it, and people were asking me about it. I was being really snippy and really short, which
Oh
is
shoot.
not me, which is not me at all. It's very. So I went back to my room after we got back. It was an away game, so we drove. I went to sleep, went straight to my room, and I woke up with which I thought was the next day, and feeling horrible. But apparently, it'd been 2 days later, and
No
people,
way.
yeah, yeah, and I got a hold of my coach and told him, hey, I'm not really feeling well. I think I need to go to the hospital. They rushed me there. The doctors kind of, took my vitals and everything, made sure I was okay. But they were like, hey, you have a really high temperature. We need to make something happen. I started really like shaking a bit, and that's when the septic shock happened. Yeah, so I made it to the hospital. But yeah, after I passed out, I didn't wake up for a week. And it was, yeah, it's super scary waking up, realizing that, this could have all been over. That sepsis could have killed me.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Okay, we
yeah,
got we got some stuff to we got some stuff to unpack in this experience. Number one, I
absolutely.
am so thankful and so grateful that you woke up after a week.
Yeah.
Number two, did you when you when you went into coma, was it one of those like fadeaway moments where you're like okay, and or like do you remember dreams? Did you have a death experience? What happened in
Those
there?
are those are all incredible questions because it was I feel like it was just sort of a mixture of it all. Like I said, I was at the hospital. I was very very there, very with it, but something was a bit off, and I was feeling terrible to me. I was feeling terrible, but I didn't think I was like gonna faint or pass out or anything like that. But once that did happen, I was sort of like in and out. Just
Oh my
for,
God.
I guess it was 7 8 days, but I was sort of in and out of it. I wasn't breathing for myself. I was on a ventilator,
Oh
and sometimes
Jesus.
they have to check your. One thing I didn't one thing that I didn't mention during the comatose period, both my lungs had went out and one kidney.
Oh my
So
God.
I had multi-organ failure. So having to breathe from a machine basically, and them having to check on my lungs, I think that's when I was coming in and out because they would have to shut off the machine to see if my lungs are going to remember to breathe again.
So
So I
they
kind of
killed you
remember.
every single time to see if you were gonna breathe. So every time they have to check your lungs, you have to like be woken up by the fact that you're freaking gonna die.
Yeah,
Oh my
absolutely. So
God.
there's a little bit of that going on.
Oh my God.
Um, yeah, no, it was all very very scary stuff. But I just felt like I was in and out of it for that week. I mean, obviously, they were operating on me and trying to make sure that everything was okay, and I was just out of it. But when I did come to, I think was the most scary moment for me is I had been pumped up full of so many fluids and things like that. Is I remember like very vividly, just like looking at my hands, and they were like so like bloated and like so like full of liquid. Yeah, and I didn't even recognize my hands. Like I was like looking at myself, and I'm like, what is going on? I remember trying to reach and grab a glass of water, and I couldn't hold the glass of water, and that's when, your mind starts racing. Like, whoa, what is
Yeah.
this my life? Is this my life forever now? Like, what just happened? So that was an incredibly scary moment for me. That the whole 2 week process in ICU, I was very unsure if I would ever have the chance to play elite basketball again. And it's funny that that's the first thing that I say is because I wasn't even worried about like would I ever be able to do this again or that again. I was just like,
Elite
can I play
basketball.
basketball? Yeah, can I play basketball? Like what can I do? I didn't think about anything else. It was all the sport. It's like the first thing I was thinking of is what is going to happen as
Oh,
far as my basketball playing days. And
I think that's the
those
mark of
two.
love,
Yeah,
right?
it
Like
is.
like that it like shows you your pride. I think that that easily shows you your priority, and that's, it's not a good thing or a bad thing, but I think that it provides a window into, like, that's what's on your mind, that's what's on your heart, like that's what you're driven, and that's what, like, your purpose at this moment is
Right.
to inspire and affect people in that way. And like that's what you're like, whoa, 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 whoa. Am I going to be able
That's,
to still do the
that's
thing that I
exactly
was
what I was
pretty sure
thinking.
that I was supposed to be doing right now?
Exactly. And, I think this, like where I am right now, I mean, I just made a national team. Just came off yeah, exactly. Just won the European Champions Cup, won the Deutsche Meister in Germany. Those are all things that back in November, I wasn't sure if that was ever going to be able to happen. So me just being here talking to you at the Olympic Training Center, I've a Team USA camp starting tomorrow. We're gearing up for, preparation for 2020. Really, everything is starting now. Um, Me doing this is all a testament to the commitment and the love that I have for the game. I didn't think that I would be sitting here at this very point right now. But I feel like I went about it the right way. Recovery was really difficult.
I remember we talked right before, or it was right, I think either right before or right after that. I think it was right after, because I was like, "Hey man, what's going on?" And
Right.
you're like, "Hey, we could totally do it. We're gonna do the podcast, but we got to do it like later." And I was like, "Oh, that's fine." You're well, just let me know when you're ready. I'm ready when you are. And then
Right.
you're like, "Yeah, I got some stuff I gotta handle." And I was like, "All right, cool, man." Like, always sending you love. Oh,
Right.
always sending you all of the good vibes. So,
For
so I was
sure.
like, okay. And then it's like we get to now, and I'm like, whoa, there's.
Yeah, for sure. But it's funny that you say that. I really got an outpour from the community, of wheelchair basketball and just Paralympic sport in general. I feel like people from within that circle, people from without out of
Yeah.
that circle. Once they realize what happened, I got such a I was overwhelmed. It was crazy. So many people reached out to me. Athletes that I didn't even know if they knew I existed.
Ah,
Like
that's
people.
cool.
I'm talking about, high profile Olympians, Paralympians, people just reaching out to me, letting me know that I'm really important to this movement, and I'm going to make it back stronger than before. And that was one element of all the messages, is that what, you're going to be stronger than you were before. And to be honest, I feel it. I have a different mental clarity now, and I just feel like I'm really attacking things with a whole different energy.
Ah, I can feel it and I can see it. And before, when we were talking, and we've had all of our different conversations and everything, like, you've always been such a grateful and a positive and just like an outstanding role model in a man, right? Like I love everything. And then, like this other element to you now, even more grateful, even more humble, even more driven. It's really cool to see how that's playing out, and I'm excited to see what this next year looks like for you with the
Definitely.
with the new eyes, right?
Right.
What I'm curious about is, so you realize, all right, am I ever going to play elite basketball again? You're in
Right.
the 4-month recovery process. So you're in the
Yep.
4-month recovery process. And we talk about like the mental shift, right? So what was kind of like the biggest thing, or what were the things that helped you in the recovery process, mentally and I guess physically? What were the highest leverage things that really helped you there?
Right. Well, your mind races.
Uh-huh.
During the different points of your recovery. I mean, your mind's gonna race, and that's how mine was. And recovery is it's not an up. Like you're
Mm-hmm.
just going up. There's you can definitely hit some setbacks, and
Yeah.
you know, it's just really important for me to be in touch with, like, how. Well, first off, I had to have a big picture mentality, and that's hard for me because I'm very impatient. I want things to happen now, and I want it to happen the way I want it. But but I was forced to be a bit more, just to be a bit more calm with things, take things how they come. And I really think that that mental aspect of it was really important. It was nice to have the exterior motivation from the people who love me, who support me, and that I loved, because I was laying in the hospital bed thinking, okay, like, I'm not making jump shots and winning medals and inspiring people. You know, who's gonna care? Who's gonna care about what's going on with me? And I was very that question was answered for me very quickly. All I had to do was answer my phone, open up Facebook, look at Instagram.
Oh,
It was crazy. The amount of people that reached out to me was unbelievable. So that exterior motivation was amazing. But I knew that what I needed to do is really, really kind of have that interior mindset. I had to change my mindset. I had to be more patient. I had to evaluate where I was in the recovery at the moment. I had to really, really attack this thing. And sometimes it wasn't physical. Sometimes it was more mental. And I think that my mental outlook right now is much more strong from what I went through back in the winter and the fall.
oh my gosh. And so now you're just winning everything. Literally winning everything. Like anything that you go after, it's like can you win this? Yes. Did you win that? Yeah. Did you succeed at that at the highest level again? Oh yeah. You like literally, like, for people who aren't watching this on YouTube,
Right.
his shirt says unbeatable. And like I said, and I saw the reason why I introduced you as the unbeatable is because I
Right.
saw your shirts and I was like, man, I love that shirt. I want one of those. Those are so good. So for everybody who is not watching on YouTube, you got to go see his unbeatable shirt because it is a reflection of his reality. Like
I'm gonna
absolutely
I'm gonna make sure you get one.
unbeatable.
I'm
Yes,
gonna make sure
please. I don't care
I
what
want to make
size.
sure you get one
But if I
for
had to
sure.
choose, medium.
All right, I'm gonna make sure you get one, no doubt.
Oh my
You're
god, you
gonna
don't
have
even
one.
know. It's going to be my new favorite shirt. I'm going to wear it all the time. I'm not even kidding.
So yeah, I mean, this has been a crazy season. I mean, my teammates, obviously, when I went down, had to really bear down and overcome some things. One of the players is down. They got some of the toughest games of the season, and they were able to come together, band together. And they were at the same time, they were always coming up to the hospital, bringing me food, because hospital food is
A
yeah,
joke?
it's terrible.
It's a joke.
Yeah, it's a joke.
And I know you have good taste. I know you
I
have
do.
good taste in food.
I do, and hospital mashed potatoes isn't really my cup of tea. But so yeah, my teammates were amazing. They always came to make sure that I was had the right headspace, and had to make sure that I was motivated and I was happy. And then when I was able to get back on the court, they welcomed me with open arms. There was no like, oh, he's back. Is he gonna take any of my playing time or anything like
Yeah,
that? I
that, you
was
know what?
just
That's
welcome.
cool.
Yeah, it was cool. It was really cool. I very much feel like that's family, and they really helped me through this process.
That's incredible. One of the things that I love about, and I say your Instagram because it's a reflection. It's a reflection of the community, and it's a window into the sport. It's a window into your world. So it always sounds so stupid to be like, oh, your Instagram, right? But I mean, like, that's a window into your reality and your world. And as an outsider looking in, one of the things that I notice and one of the things that I take away from your team and the community of wheelchair basketball and Paralympians, extended,
Right.
is that there's this community aspect. There's like this outpouring of love in every competition, and I think that might be unique to your community, and it's something that as an outsider looking in, it's beautiful. Do you
Right.
feel that it's part of your community, or do you feel like it's also at every, do you see this in other levels of sport and competition, or do you feel like this is something that's just super special to where you're at right now?
I'm gonna be selfish and say that it definitely comes from that community, and that's why it's so special to me. You mentioned earlier, you've always noticed, how grateful I am and how thankful I am, and my gratitude is well documented. I mean, it goes back
Man,
further than
you've
I can.
got the most attitude of gratitude of anybody that I know personally and follow on the interwebs. Your attitude
Right.
of gratitude is inspiring. It's one of my favorite things about you. Continue.
I appreciate that, and because I don't want anybody to make that mistake to think like I got hurt and then I was in the hospital and now I'm so grateful for everyone. No, I've
No,
been
man,
grateful
this has
because
been years. This has been
yeah,
years. You can go back, you can see it. It is well documented.
100%. Because I realize no one gets anywhere on their own. And I feel like there's a couple of different mindsets you can have. Some people have this like I'm motivated, for the people who tell me that I can't. And, like I got so many haters and, I gotta prove them wrong. And that's just not for me,
Yeah.
because I want to give all my attention and all my love and all of everything that I've accomplished. I want to give that to all the people that helped me reach that. And so I have no time and no effort and no energy for anybody that doesn't want to see me win at all. So all of my energy just goes straight to the people who support me. And I love it because I am heavily supported and it feels good that people want to see me win. So when you ask, is that sort of love and that is that special to this sort of community? I think that it is. I think that people in this in the Paralympic community and the wheelchair basketball community, it's a tight knit group, and
Mm-hmm.
we just we're not going after mainstream legitimacy. We're not going after the all the limelight and things like that. We just want to put out the best version of our sport that we can, and it's
Yeah.
constantly growing. And I think people sort of gravitate to that, and they like it because it's genuine and it's real.
And you can really feel that. You can feel that and you can see that in the competition. You can see that in your community. You can see that in Instagram. And it's something that, one of the other things that one of my other outside observations is that even when you're competing against somebody, you still have so much love and so much gratitude and just, and really honor people for their talent. And
Definitely.
it's not a matter of I'm better than you or I won this game. It's really coming from this anti-ego place of just like I'm honoring the competition. I'm honoring you as a player, and the outcome is the outcome. And guess what? There's another game tomorrow.
Right.
And
Absolutely.
we get to do it again tomorrow because we co-create these games together, and
Yep.
we never know what's going to happen. We just play our best game, and
Yep.
we do that together. So it's another thing, like looking in is the ability to honor somebody else, their talent, but yet still feel so deserving of the win, whatever that might
Definitely.
be.
No, it's incredible that you say that because some of my best competition is also some of my best friends. So I mean, as much as you want to go into the competition, you hate your competition,
Oh yeah.
you want to take them down, beast mode, and all of that. But these are very much my brothers, and of course, we all share similar dreams. We're going up for the same medals and the same trophies and the same accolades. So sometimes you have to go through this sport with the mantra, what would Judas do? Like it's just like sometimes I gotta take down my brother, but it's all great. And I love to give props to my guys that are out training hard and that they're succeeding. And it's much bigger than me. It's
Yeah.
much bigger than me. This sport is so much bigger than me. So it's easy to give to give the right to the guys that are shining at the moment, to feel good for the fans that cheer us on, to just kind of be in this moment, be in this environment, be in this community, and really thrive in it.
Well, for people who are not don't have their fingers on the pulse of wheelchair basketball, it's something to definitely look into. Not only is it a dynamic and a freaking cool sport, which it is action packed. If you like normal basketball, you're gonna love wheelchair basketball. I mean, it is full force. This is a contact sport. It's a high contact sport. There is there is like it's a special sport. It's
That's
really
true.
freaking cool. What's your
That's
favorite part?
true.
What's your favorite part of wheelchair basketball? Do you have something that is like, oh man, like I
Well,
love this?
there's, I mean, I'm completely and utterly in love with the sport. I
Yeah.
just am. But there's a lot of elements I like. But one thing that I can really say that I love is when someone comes to watch a game for the very first time.
Yeah.
Because I really think that it gives you like that Mr. Ed effect. Like, oh my God, that horse can talk. Like, oh my God, that
I've
like
never heard
like
anybody say the Mr. Ed effect. And when you said Mr. Ed effect, I'm thinking the horse, and yep, okay.
but it's like, oh my God, that horse can talk. It's like, oh my God, that guy with one arm is draining threes at a really high percentage. Or oh my
Nasty
God,
threes all
yeah,
day.
yeah. Or oh my God, that guy has a spinal cord injury, but he's got some serious moves. Or it just gives the people, like I say, it's like that Mr. Ed effect, and I love it. I love it because I feel like we have the kind of sport that you have to see to appreciate. You can't just say, hey, I went to this wheelchair basketball game and it was awesome. Nobody's going to believe you if they've never seen it before. They're just like, oh yeah, that's cool. You have such a warm heart for going to watch. And then they come and check it out themselves and they're like, whoa, like these guys are really intense. It's really,
That's an
like you say, it's
understatement.
action
That is an
packed.
understatement. It is
Yeah,
it is a war out there, and it's
that's
freaking
right.
awesome. It's awesome.
Right.
It's
Definitely.
it really is incredible. So we kind of know where you're at now. I'd love to kind of shift to your athlete journey, kind of how you got started, because I know that as people start to hear this, they're like, okay, wheelchair basketball. Well, was he born that way? Did he get injured? Adaptive sports. There's so many different things that could have happened,
That's true.
and people are probably like, just tell us how. So let's talk about your athlete journey, how you started playing, how you got into the sport, and
Right.
yeah, let's jump into that.
Cool. Yeah. So I was born with spina bifida. So I was born with my disability. I've had it my entire life.
What does that
But
mean for other people?
So when I was born, there was like a part in my spinal cord that was exposed. So I mean, it was basically open. There's a small part in my back that was open when I was born, and based off of that, your spinal cord being sort of exposed to the elements, you get some damage there. So
Ah, okay, there you go.
yeah, exactly. So I obviously it's closed now. I don't just walk around with like a big hole in my back or
Thanks for
something like
clarifying.
that. Yeah, exactly. But due to the damage, I have the inability to walk. So I've been in a wheelchair my entire life. I started playing wheelchair basketball when I was about 14 or 15, though, because I was unaware of wheelchair basketball. And then when I became aware of it, I was like unwilling because I don't know, when I was playing basketball with my able-bodied friends. I was, we were 10, 8, 10, 12 years old. I could kind of compete with them.
That's
But then
awesome.
yeah, but then when you start turning into teenagers and your friends start jumping over you and dunking on you and everything, then it's like, all right, this isn't fun anymore. But
What are you gonna do?
yeah, but so I was really, really pushed to try out wheelchair basketball, even though I had like this, I don't want to say like a negative thought about it, but it wasn't what I didn't see it for what it actually is. I was like, I don't want to play basketball with people in wheelchairs. I want to play basketball with my friends.
Yeah.
But when I got to the court and I saw what skill that it took, the drive and the guys that I first saw, like the drive they had, they were really good. They were throwing behind the back passes, they were hitting threes, they were crashing and burning, and I was like, oh, this is this is legit. Like this is really cool. So I mean, I went to my first practice and I've been practicing every day since.
Oh my gosh. So is there so straight out like in high school, is it just like additional programs that,
So
because obviously it's not an NCAA sanctioned sport, because
right,
obviously there's not it would be hard to fill programs.
right.
So what did that kind of like that process, and then getting to a point where you're like playing professionally, like
Right.
how do you go from 14 to
Yes.
four-time Olympian? How do you do that?
So check this out. So I played in the junior division of the NWBA, the National Wheelchair Basketball
Hmm.
Association. And there's a junior division that has, I mean, teams from every state. I mean, the junior division is huge, and I would compare the junior division to an AAU. because it's a traveling league.
Uh-huh.
There's regional tournaments everywhere. There's a national tournament at the end of the season, and that's when there's about 10 to 12 um, college programs. At least there were when I was there. There actually might be more now.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
but yeah, there was about 10 to 12 when I was coming up throughout the ranks. And when you go to the national tournament, there are college coaches. There's representatives from these universities, and they're all scouting talent from the junior program. So I was heavily recruited to go to. There was a couple schools that I considered, but I ended up going to the University of Wisconsin Whitewater. Go Warhawks. Um, so I actually went there. There was like a big pipeline from Michigan. That's where I'm from, Michigan. That to go to the University of Texas of Arlington.
Of
So
course.
it was like that was my destiny. Everybody figured I was just gonna go there, and I didn't like it. I didn't like that people just assumed where I was gonna go, and so I decided to go to a program that I thought maybe grinded a bit harder for what they were.
All
They didn't have
right.
all the blue chippers. They didn't have maybe like all of the A1 players that went to the better schools. So I ended up going to the University of Wisconsin Whitewater. I loved it. Played 4 years there, and as I told you that you get recruited in the junior ranks, there's also people that are recruiting when you're in college, and but I missed the spot. Sorry. So when I was playing when I was playing the juniors, and I was moving on to the University of Wisconsin Whitewater. That's when I got an invite for my first national team. I got my first invite when I was about
Wow.
17 years old.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I made my first team in 2003, right before I graduated high school. It's
So that's like
incredible.
18. That's like 17, 18.
Yeah, that's when I got named to that Athens team and the qualifying team before that.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, that was really cool. I couldn't, you get an opportunity like that, and
Yeah.
you can either get nervous and you think about how big of an opportunity it is, or you can just come in there and kick the door down, and that's pretty much what I did.
Well, you've been
I
kicking the door down ever since because you continue to do it. And so you play on the national team, you get recruited from there. Then, obviously there's leagues or there's different places that you can go play overseas. You know,
Absolutely.
is there anything here in the States, or is it just
So the
it's all overseas type of a thing
so, so
professionally?
the so the NWBA, it goes from the junior league, and it goes all the way on to like a championship division. However, it's not professional. It's all amateur.
Yeah.
So um, the unique part about the leagues overseas is that's your job. When I wake up, in Germany every day, I go shoot, I go lift, I maybe watch some video, I get, my nutrition in, maybe go to team practice, and then my day's done. Or and then the next day, maybe I get a lift in, some more shooting, some cardio, things like that. Like that's very much my job. But, if I was to stay here in the States and play in the NWBA, I would have to work full time and then try to find ways to train as I'm supporting myself, which kind of takes away from who you are as an athlete and your ability to either give yourself fully to your job,
Yeah.
to your family, or whatever it is you may have. And it's hard to prioritize. It's really easy for me overseas, where that is my only priority, and I make that my job. So
Well,
it's
and it's
nice.
quality of life too, right?
Yeah,
Like it's one
for
of the
sure.
things that as I do this podcast more and as I have more friends who play different sports overseas or who play here professionally, this is something you start to hear, right?
Absolutely.
We continue to hear that professional athletes are not paid, not all of them aren't
Right.
paid these like NFL, NBA salaries, right?
Right.
Where we're having this luxurious lifestyle where you train and do all the things. Like you don't
Right.
have that. Like I'm working part-time to be able to train, support
Yeah.
my family,
Of course.
and then like train in the off time. Like that's
Yeah.
and when you're trying to be the best in the world, when you're trying to and there's like a time frame of like your life, right? Where it's like
Yeah.
this is the time that you have to go and get it. Who knows what you
Yeah.
have later, like really living in the moment, being like I've been given this gift. I want to grind. I want to be a part of this. And for me to do that, like, this is how we're going to do it.
Yeah.
Like, that's so cool. I'm so happy that you're pursuing that, because I know that the sport, and when your ultimate goal is growing the sport, bettering the sport, giving yourself to the sport, being a part of this community, like, that's the way you do it,
For sure.
is by sacrificing a quote quote normal life, and not
Yep.
saying like, oh my God, you're sacrificing all the luxuries of the United States by any stretch. You're just living in a different part of the world and doing the
That's
thing you
right.
love. Like,
That's right.
but still, like, you're still, it's different. It's a different life.
It
Not,
is. It's 100%. I mean, you sometimes it's isolated from your, your family, your friends. You're pretty far away. You miss engagements, you miss babies
everything.
being born, you,
You
you
miss
miss
everything.
graduation, exactly, et cetera, et cetera. But the people that support you, they realize that this is important to you, and they realize that you are who you are because you do this. And I've been fortunate enough to be surrounded by people that love to see me win. As I mentioned earlier, it's incredible. Sometimes I feel like, oh man, I really missed that. I'm such a bad friend, or oh man, I really wish I could have said I love you face to face, or I really wish I could have given this person a graduation gift, or whatever it is. But they all understand, and they love what I do. And when they see me put on those 3 letters across my chest, when they see me lifting Champions Cup trophies, when they see me do all that, they feel like they live it with me, and I'm happy to give them that feeling.
Well, I want to honor you for staying true to that, because I think a lot of times, and everybody has a different journey, every athlete, every sport, everybody has a different journey. And,
Definitely.
I talk to some people and have friends who, like, their family, they get to a point in their career. And this doesn't happen to everybody, just some people, they get to a point in their career where their career is they've been sacrificing their family for 25 effing years, and it's like, no, like, I'm being called, like, I have an internal calling to invest in my family, because that's the way that I feel like I'm supposed to be pulled. And then, to be in a place where you are devoting every waking second, hour, like, all of your resources, all of your everything, right? To be in a
Right.
place where you're doing that and being like, I'm not going to be made to feel guilty for missing a birthday. I'm
Right.
not going to be made to feel guilty because I'm invested and I'm so in love with what I'm doing. And I also do that for those people. Like,
For sure.
and the people who essentially you want in your life, and the people who support you are like, hey man, I get it. Go do
Yep.
it. And the people
That's
who
exactly
probably
what it
shouldn't
is.
be in your life, they're like, man, you missed another thing. You're not
Exactly.
investing in this friendship. Man, I don't want you. You're like, you know what? Maybe it's not our time to be friends.
Right. No, you're
And
right.
that's okay. And like people feel guilty, or like we have these expectations, and I think that's like where we go wrong, right? It's like we have these expectations about how we want everything to be, and how we want to, like, oh, I want people to show up like this for me, and I need people to think this, and like we always want to
Yeah.
control, or like have these expectations that need to be filled, and then when they don't get filled, that's where the like disappointment, or like
Yeah.
the expectation hangover comes in, right? And it's a matter of like where you are in like the expectation and and all of that. And I think when we are able to not completely release it, but
Right.
but when we're able to surrender to some of those expectations, and we can just allow things to be what they are, just kind of like we were talking about with the present moment, like we can surrender to our environment, we can surrender to the people around us, and not in a, oh, I surrender kind of a way, but in a humble, I'm going to be in the moment. I'm going to, I'm not going to worry about anything else except for, living in this moment and being a
100%.
part of this, and not worrying about the expectations of others or the expectations of myself or anything like that. So you go,
No,
man.
it's like it's sometimes a challenge. I won't say sometimes it's
It's always a
oftentimes a challenge.
challenge.
Yeah, it's oftentimes a challenge. But as you said, the people that stick by you, and the people that realize that, I do this to make them proud. I'm very, very happy with the life that I lead, and they are too. And sometimes you get those people who don't necessarily appreciate your absence. They don't appreciate the lack of presence. But there's that small circle that really, really gets you. And that's who I do it for.
That's your tribe, man. That's your tribe.
That's
Well,
right.
I know
That's right.
I'm in your corner always. I'm always like, ah, yes, okay, yeah. I'm always rooting you on from afar,
I
always.
appreciate that. I really appreciate
You're
that. And
so
yes,
welcome.
absolutely. You've been super consistent with it, and I never doubt that you're there.
Ah, that's awesome. You know, you a while back you had this really cool thing, and I'll link to it for everybody. One of the cool things you have is number one, the no excuses video
Yeah.
is like it's freaking dope. It's amazing, right? So you have like the no excuses one, and then the other one, which I think it's a more recent one. It whoever put it together, I'm not sure who it is, but it's this incredibly motivational video of you. Oh my god, like it's your training and it's got great music, and oh my god, like I watched it 3 times yesterday.
Oh man.
Yeah, I watched it 3 times yesterday, and I'm not one who gets super pumped up about other people's videos. I mean, like there's some
Right.
cool things, like they like shake me and I get it, but it's not like I'm like on YouTube looking at like motivational videos because I need to go work out. It's like, no, I just go work out because I like it, you know? Or like I go do my thing because I like to. But man, I saw this video 3 times yesterday, and like every cell in my body was like, you gotta go get it! You gotta go get it, girl! You gotta go! And I couldn't because I had something else I had to do, and I was like, oh man! And it was like this
Right.
surge of like inspiration and motivation. Do you get inspired to your own videos? I gotta know, because
So
you know the one
so
I'm
I,
talking about.
as you said, the other one's a bit, not the no excuse one, but the other one's a bit more recent. I shot that last summer
It's so
with a
dope.
good friend of mine who's an NFL alum. He comes from USC. He went to USC for football, and also an NFL alum. And we got together at his facility. We did some working out. He said, you want to get into shape? I'll get you into shape. And we did some really, really fun, really sort of innovative things
Mm-hmm.
that I don't see most trainers doing. And I was like, you know what, man, this is, I don't think the general, wheelchair, I don't even say wheelchair, but adaptive community realizes like some of these exercises that you're putting me through. I was like, man, we should document this. He's like, all right, well, I'm not one of those guys who we're just gonna come like shoot little examples of what we're doing. He's like, if we're gonna document this, we're gonna get a crazy workout in. So we got a camera crew together, and we really got it
It's
in like that.
dope. It is so
Yeah,
good. And like I'm not gonna like ruin it for people, but I'm gonna give you like snippets, right? So it's like you go in and you see you're like you're doing pull-ups with your wheelchair, and you're like doing all these crazy agility things with it, and then you're like falling on the floor and doing push-ups, and then
right.
you're bench pressing like a beast, and you're using all these different bands, and just
Yep, definitely.
oh man, it's
So
such a cool
that
video.
I was dead for 3 days after that video. Like that was,
Yeah,
sometimes like, yeah, we really went after it. Yeah. So shout out to everybody that put that video together. Yeah,
I will make sure to link all those people because
yeah,
number
link
one, you're
it, link
talented as
it.
hell. Number
Yeah,
two, I want to see anything else that they're working on, because if it is anywhere in the caliber of what y'all put out, like it's good stuff. It's so
for
good.
sure. And I'll when we get off this call, I'll link you the Instagrams of Jay, and also
Get
the
them on the
camera crew.
podcast. Get them on the
Yeah,
podcast.
exactly. Because you know what, he's incredible. He's always doing some innovative things, and usually for obviously able-bodied athletes, he works on speed, he works on agility, and change of directions and things like that. And I was just humbled to that he was able to work with me, and I think we'll work together again in the future. So, also that camera crew is incredible. I think the video was great. I think I was motivated by it. I thought the music was good. I was like, yeah, this turned out awesome. So yeah, everybody involved, shout out to them. It was amazing. For the no excuses one, I feel like it's so ancient. Like I feel like it was
Oh yeah,
so
well,
long
it
ago.
was so long ago. You didn't even have
Yeah,
your hair. I don't like,
yeah, exactly,
it's like,
exactly.
it's
Those
like, who
that
is
was
that guy? You look up pictures of you right now, and you're like, oh man, that was like 10 years ago. Like you look.
Yeah, for sure. It was so long ago. But you know what? I will tell you this. It's motivating to me in a sense that completely changed my life. that completely changed my life. That like being a part of that video, being a part of that No Excuses campaign and ad, you know, it really, it kind of pertains to what happened to me back in November when I was in the hospital. You know, just, you know, it's when you do a video or something like that, and like people look at you as like, hey, you're the guy that doesn't make excuses.
And then you're face down in a hospital bed, and you're like, no excuses.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, no, you know what? It's like, no, I can't back down now. You know, I made a promise to myself, and I told myself that, you know, I can't. There's nothing's promised. Okay, so I can't tell you on this podcast like, hey, we're gonna go win a gold medal for Team USA in 2020 in Tokyo. I can't tell you that that's going to happen, but I can tell you that I'm going to do every single thing that I can from, you know, from back when I made myself that promise to till I get on the top of that podium. I'm going to do everything that I possibly can, whether it's, you know, lift more weights, shoot more shots, eat more spinach. I don't know. You know, it's like everything I can do, you know, and, you know, all the sacrifices, everything that I need to push through. And I realized like that was one of the hills I needed to climb. You know, I needed to, okay, this is a setback. Okay. I got sick. This is an injury. Now, what about this promise I made to myself? Am I just going to be like, oh, because it would have been really easy for me to be like, I'm out, guys. You know, I got sick. I need time for myself to recover. It would have been really easy. People would have understood. Hey, yeah, man, we get it. You know, you were in ICU. You almost died. Just chill. People would have got it. But you know, now there's people that think I'm insane that I keep going. Hey, when are you gonna take some time for yourself? Hey, you're balling already? You're back with Team USA. Hey, this is time for myself. I'm keeping a promise to myself, and I'm not gonna sway away from that.
Oh my God, that is so beautiful. You know, this year the winning elements theme, and like every year we're going to be doing different themes. So like maybe next year is going to be limitless, or maybe it's unbeatable. I don't know. But this year, you know, our big theme is around unstoppable. And, you know, unstoppable is a little bit like unbeatable. But for you, what does unstoppable mean, and how are you living into that today?
To me, unstoppable, it means that you completely zone in on a goal or goals, you know, plural, but you're so zoned in on your goals that nothing around can penetrate that. And, you know, nothing's going to stop you. You know, even yourself, you know, sometimes, you know, you're your own worst enemy or whatever. But I feel like when you're unstoppable, you're doing all the things you need to do to reach that goal, and there's nothing that's going to penetrate it. And at this very moment, I feel like I'm in that space. I'm in that space at this time. I feel like I'm in my own zone, but I'm also I'm in the zone that people have created for me. You know, I'm surrounded by love. I'm surrounded by support. I'm surrounded by resources. You know, I'm here in this wonderful facility. People have put me in a position to win. So the best thing I could do for them is win.
And show up, right? Like you're showing up every day.
Exactly.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited to see how everything plays out. For, you know, as we bring this podcast to a close, what's next for you, and where can people connect with you?
So we're actually preparing for the Pan American Games. That's always hard to
Pan American.
It's too much alliteration for me. So the Pan American Games, they're going to be in Lima, Peru. There's another P in there. So Pan American Games in Peru in this August. We have to qualify for the Paralympics.
Okay.
So our goal this summer is to win a gold in the Pan American Games, and then prepare for 2020. So right now that's the sole focus, is to get on that podium and make sure that our guys are in the right position to win. So I'm looking forward to that. And how people connect with me, I'm easy to find on Instagram at @MattScott_fly. And I'm also on Facebook. I'm everywhere. You could find me, but Matt Scott Fly is the handle. And find me.
I'm excited. I am definitely linking to everything because people need to know about you. And I'm always excited to talk about what you're doing. And I'm always excited to be like, hey, man, have you checked Matt? You got to check him out. He's the coolest. He's the best. Oh, my God. Great. And, you know, I'm really excited to see, you know, given this journey that you've had so far, And this is, this mild setback that was very much a part of the path to what you're pursuing here. I'm excited to see what happens in Lima. I know that you guys are going to win. I know that you guys are going to be successful. When I say win, I mean you guys are going to learn, you guys are going to grow, because that's what it really is about. And hopefully I'll be seeing you guys at the 2020 Olympics. It's one of my goals is to either go with a client or to go support one of the athletes that I know and who I help support. So hopefully I'll see you guys in 2020 in Tokyo. That's the plan.
Fingers crossed. I would love to see you there. That would be great. Just another source of motivation and support. And yeah, it would be great to see you there. But I really appreciate you having me. This is, I'm unbelievably grateful just to be able to share my story here. And I just want to thank you for the opportunity.
You're so welcome. I'm always in your corner, always happy to help, always happy to spread your story, because you are a positive voice. You are a powerful and empowering person, and you're a great role model for not only young men, but older men and women. So continue being you, because a lot of people are watching, they're taking note, and you're authentic and people feel that from you. And so I just want to honor you for being you, because
I appreciate that.
Oh yes. Your journey is incredible.
Awesome. Well, I hope you have a great day.
Thanks so much. I hope you, the listeners, enjoyed Matt's journey, and that you'll continue to come back to this podcast to become inspired by the stories and empowered by the strategies shared, so you can level up, you can unlock your true potential, and you can enjoy your own journey. I am so grateful for your attention, and I hope that you got something special out of this episode. Make sure you follow Matt on Instagram, and please subscribe and leave us a 5-star review. And don't forget to tell your teammates and friends about this podcast. And if you want to see us interact, which I highly recommend because he's got great hair, a beautiful shirt, and he is a handsome gentleman, you should definitely watch this episode on YouTube. If you want more awesome content, you can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest, all the places on social media. And you can always join us on the journey online at www.BeTheWinningElement.com. Until next time, train with purpose, play with passion, and seize the day every day.